Trippi. I'm joined this evening with my co-host Waynna, and today we have another exciting and informative show for you. We only have one guest, but we're going to do we're going to have a great discussion with this young man. He is coming on to talk about suicide prevention.
Yes.
And it's funny, Waynna, because you ran into him yesterday.
His mom
At the polls.
through Pastor D.
Okay.
So
all right.
Pastor D was speaking with his mom,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like, "Oh, you got to go on the Congo Hour," and he came and found me.
Okay.
And introduced me, and here we are today.
All right. And again, just as a side note, if you ever want to be a part of the Congo Hour, how can they
You better
reach you?
give them the number. Go ahead. You got it.
302-981.
What?
302-5.
302-521-7325.
7325. 302-521-7325. Just give Waynna a shout out. Call her or text her, and she will make sure that she puts you on the schedule. So before we bring on our guest, Waynna, last week were the elections.
Yes.
And we've been talking about the elections probably for the last few months, and I just want to talk about that for a little bit.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yeah, I'm for it.
Okay, all right. So unfortunately, Waynna, I don't like to use the word didn't win, but how are we going to word that? Didn't win?
It is what it
didn't
is.
win. Okay, unfortunately, Waynna didn't win, but I just love her commitment to the city to continue to advocate, to continue to show up, to continue just to be a part of the conversation around making Wilmington a better place to live and to work and to play. Waynna, I know that I don't know if you want to say a few words or.
I just want to, I posted on Facebook, like I really sincerely want to thank you and those that supported me, backed me up, and who voted for me. I didn't win, but as I said, I'm never a sore loser. I always believe that everything in life happens for a reason.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I am uber excited that Alex is in, along with the other people that won. But I'm really excited for Alex, one, because he's young. And I know that people were, talking about age, but he's very knowledgeable. He's been advocating, so I know that he will do extremely well.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for him.
He definitely will. I'm excited to work with the new council members. Like you said, Alex Hackett, Kobe Owens.
Yes.
Another young man who has been
advocating forever since he came out of his mother's womb.
Yes, he has just been on the front lines advocating for his district, advocating for the city, advocating for the county, the state. He is going to bring a lot of knowledge, a lot of passion to council.
Yes.
I'm really, really happy for him. And he only won by 8 votes. And that is just, everybody always says, every vote counts, make sure you go vote. And that is just like the shining example of every vote counts.
It is.
And shout out to everybody who ran, but I don't want to forget about Christian Willauer over in the 5th District. I'm going to be excited to be working with her. She is she's an advocate for the city, advocate for the underserved. I'm just looking forward to just her wealth of knowledge on how City Council together as a team can just create legislation, support legislation that will just make our city better. Really looking forward just to that engagement and those conversations. And I know, Waynna, you're still going to be a part of the meetings, and that's important, that everybody who ran, and maybe if you weren't successful, just to continue to be engaged, be a part of the conversation, be a part of your civic association meetings, still come to our council meetings because we need input. I have been at council meetings and have literally seen votes change, council members change their vote because of community feedback.
Yes.
So your participation is so important. And of course, we always appreciate your vote for electing us and putting us in our position, but that's just the beginning. We need your continued support just to show up, to call, to write in, just to be a part of your block, be a part of your neighborhood, be a part of our city.
There needs to be, I think we need to have some type of movement. educating people the importance of primary elections because
absolutely.
it was a very low turnout.
It was, and it always is, but this year was especially low. I think only 22% of the.
I thought it was 27.7%.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
It was around 20-something of the registered voters who could vote voted, and that's just not acceptable. We just have to make sure that everyone knows. And again, I always say that this has to start in our school system.
Most definitely.
Students have to be made aware of local politics. National politics are important, but I believe local politics are even more important to be a part of, to make sure you know who is running for what positions, and it really just starts in school so that as our students grow up, they just understand politics, local politics, and understand what it means to be engaged and how to vote and where to vote. Because I was just as guilty. I always say this, that when I was in high school, I wasn't involved. I didn't know who my elected officials were, and it's just a system that continues to recycle, and then we wonder why people aren't involved and engaged because they're not taught how to be engaged.
Right.
So it really has to happen, I think, on a school level because every child is going to go to school. So I just think that should be a part of the curriculum, just local politics, just so we can all be a part of what we want our city to look like.
Yes.
So, but again, I just want to shout out everybody who ran. Want to congratulate everybody who was successful. Look forward to working. Of course, we're Team Velda over here, but I have to remember why I am in this position, and I can't hold grudges. I can't not be willing to work with everybody who's elected. My fellow council members.
That's not even in your nature.
It's not. So. But just want to make sure that people know that I'm not going to make it hard for our governor or next mayor, John Carney. I'm always going to do what I think is right, do what I think the community is deserving of, but I'm not going to just be a spoiler just because Velda's not in there.
Right.
And I'm sure that's not what she would want. I'm sure she's going to continue to be engaged and show up at meetings and just keep us all in the know about what we need to do for our city. And I just encourage everybody, whether you wanted the governor, whether you wanted Matt or Bethany to win, and of course Matt win. We just all have to work together. We all have to kind of put aside our differences, and we always expect our national politicians to do that. So after the primary, we always expect the presidential candidates to kind of put their differences to the side and work together. So we have to do that same thing. Not change who we are, not change why we're running, not change our passion, but we have to make sure that we are keeping the communities first and helping each other. I think that's what it's all about.
Indeed.
Yeah. So.
Did you watch the presidential debate?
I did. Yeah, I did watch. She just asked it. Did I watch the debate? I think most of us did. It was. To me, it just made it. I already knew who I was going to support. It just made it that much clearer who we need to support and who needs to be in that office. Just even policy set aside. Policy is very important, but just the energy.
Yes.
That she's going to bring versus the energy that he would bring speaks volumes for me. So it was a lot that was said in that debate. It's just clear who we need to be voting for in November. So, what do you think about it?
I thought it was it was crazy. I felt like the moderators should have forced the answers, the questions to be answered.
Right.
I think when they still weren't answered, they just kind of let it go. I thought we really needed to hear answers.
And I heard a lot of people comment they didn't hear a lot about either policies.
Right.
It was just a lot of them just kind of going on what they wanted us to hear, but they didn't. People who watched, being fair to both sides, that they didn't hear either of the candidates give any strong policy that they wanted to bring to the to the White House and to our country. So that's important too. We just don't want to get caught up in either of their in either of their energies. It's important what they plan to do whether you support Trump or whether you support Harris, I think it's important just to understand why. I think it's also important, to understand who they are and what kind of focus they're going to bring and what other countries are going to think about us. But it's important to know like why they're running and what their goals are.
Most definitely.
Yeah. So it was interesting. I think there's going to be one more. I think somebody.
Oh, I don't know.
No, I thought I saw somebody say there's going to be one more debate. So that'll be. We definitely have to tune in for that one. Yeah. What else? There was something else I wanted to talk about. Oh, I definitely, we talked about it off and on, but I do want to make sure that here on the show we are just keeping people up to beat with what's going on in council, what's going on in our local politics, whether it's on the council or the county level, especially council since I'm on council. But I want to make sure that each show we are just helping our audience to understand what's going on in city council, why we're here, what we do, what our goals are, and how they can be a part of it. So starting next week, we're just going to continue to. I want that to be almost like a
segment.
A segment.
Okay.
I'm not sure what we're going to call it, but we need to just make sure that we're keeping.
Tips from Trip?
No. We'll think of something, but I think it's important that people can tune in and just learn what's going on.
I agree.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So, what else is going on?
My mind is so boggled. I don't know what else is going on.
I'm trying to think before we bring our guests on. We'll have some time to talk after we do our first interview.
Are you going to be here for me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good.
Yeah, our meeting got canceled, so I'm here.
Oh,
yeah, so
okay,
I'm good.
good. All right.
All
So
right.
we're going to take a quick break and bring Nived over.
Okay.
I'm hoping his mom comes on too.
All right.
So we'll see. We're going to make her come.
That's right. All right, we're going to take a really quick break, and we will be right back.
DETV has been Delaware's premium provider of creative digital and broadcasting solutions that bridges communities and connects people. We create great stories for all audiences. We deliver independent news throughout Delaware. We are digital platform innovators. And we develop marketing and sales solutions so you can stay connected to your audience. Now, why do we do what we do here on DETV? We do it because we care. So, keep watching and follow us on all of our social media platforms. Remember, DETV, online, on air, on time.
Good evening and welcome back to the Congo Hour. Hope that you have enjoyed our conversation so far. And I'm really excited about our next guest that's coming on. As I shared earlier, I met this young man's mother at PS while we were campaigning, and Pastor D was speaking with her, and he came and found me. He was like, "You gotta have her son on the show." And today we had a guest that was coming on, but unfortunately they took sick. And I texted his mom. I said, "I apologize for the late notice, but love for your son to come on." She didn't even hesitate. She's like, "Yes." I was like, "Oh, I was so."
That's right.
Yeah.
Definitely appreciate that.
Yeah, one because, and we'll talk more about it. It's about he has a teen suicide prevention movement going on. And recently, I don't want to say recently, but right here in Wilmington, there's a lot of particularly females that are attempting to commit suicide. So,
yeah, so we definitely hope that you stay tuned, that you engage, and that you call people just to have them engage and be a part of the conversation.
especially young.
Yeah, that we're about to have, and I think that it's such a like a polarizing topic because nobody ever thinks that it's going to happen to anybody who they love, who they come in contact with. It's just kind of unimaginable that someone in your circle would want to commit suicide.
Do you know anyone that's ever committed suicide? I mean, personally?
Yes, I do. It's
You
been
do?
a long time ago.
I have
Yes.
family members that have.
Have you?
So,
Yeah, but it just comes. Of course, it just comes out of nowhere, and we automatically just think, what could we have done? What did we miss any like cues? Sometimes people start to blame themselves. And I think especially if it's like a child, the parent would automatically, just feel guilty and think that they could have prevented or could have noticed something. So we just want people to make sure that you are giving people a heads up to turn your channel to turn their channel to 28 or log on to DETV or the Congo Hour on Facebook. So and if they do miss it, the good part is they can go back and they can go back and rewatch it on DETV or on the Congo Hour. But definitely looking forward to the conversation. So we're not going to delay it any further. We want to welcome Nived and his mom, Jonesna. Did I get it right?
Thank you for having us on.
Yes.
You're welcome. Yes, thank you so very much. As I shared, like you didn't hesitate saying yes. I'm like, I don't even know if he was around. I know he's your child, so you saying yes, that he's coming. So yeah, thank you so very much. Share with us what made you get started with your movement.
So for as long as I can remember, I've always been shocked by the statistics that we see, the statistics that are from ages 10 to 34. Suicide is the second leading cause of death in the United States.
Oh, wow.
And some statistics have found it to be the third leading cause of death for high schoolers. So I was tasked with, as part of a youth program, with finding what are some strategies that we can use to prevent suicide. And a mentor of mine encouraged me to get involved, talk to my district, and eventually I had a meeting with district leaders about how we can implement suicide prevention into the health curriculum, student on student suicide prevention into the health curriculum. And from there, it all got started. It's a topic that I've become incredibly passionate about because it's so preventable.
Right.
We can take it from being the third leading cause of death. Not a problem.
Right.
Yes.
And tell us a little bit about your background, how old you are, what school you go to, and you're so well poised, and you have a face like a high school student, but you don't come across as one. So just give our audience, just tell our audience who you are.
Thank you very much. So my name is Nived Lakshman. I'm a senior at Downingtown East High School in Exton, Pennsylvania, near Philly. I'm 17 years old and I'm heading off to college next year.
Okay, where you going?
Oh, don't know just yet.
Okay.
Hopefully like political science, go to law school.
All right.
That's the goal.
Wow.
That's good stuff, man.
Yes.
I'm sure you do well.
Thank you.
And Mom, I know you must be very, very proud of your son.
Yes. We all go through mental health issues, and it's such a stigma, especially among teens. They're confused. They have all these hormones raging, right? So he's incredibly passionate about spreading the teen-on-teen support, which is like empowering and teaching teens to help their friends when they are in crisis, right? So it's all his effort, and we are incredibly proud of him and supportive of it. Yes.
You mentioned before we came on the show, you knew someone that almost experienced committing suicide.
Yeah, so someone very close to our family had very bad mental breakdown publicly. And although the friends around him wanted to help, what they did actually ended up causing it to explode a little bit more. And although they meant the best intentions, it kind of showed me that it's important for all of us to understand what the signs are and what we can do when someone around us is experiencing crippling mental fatigue.
Right. What are some of the signs?
So some of the signs that people often have is that when they open up their skin, what happens is they'll have a lot of cuts. And so a lot of the times they're trying their best to cover it.
Okay.
And a lot of the people who are experiencing crippling depression are often reserved. They might have been extroverted before, but they're incredibly reserved. So they don't talk much. Sometimes they're very ornery, grouchy, and sometimes they have a lot of, and this is a sign that often goes under the radar, a lot of them have laziness. So they have an inability to get out of bed in the morning. They have just inability to do work, inability to do anything. And that's not necessarily their fault. It's the fault of depression.
Right.
Sometimes they're not even in control of their bodies sometimes.
Yeah. So from experience, I can share, and I don't mind sharing, is that I've dealt with depression before, and those were my signs. I didn't want to get out of bed, didn't want to do anything, wanted it dark in the room. So yes.
What are some of the strategies that somebody who just notices some of the symptoms in like a friend or a family member, what should they do? Like, what should we do if we see a child or a parent or a sibling or a friend just kind of experiencing some of those symptoms of depression or being suicidal?
That's a great question. So a lot of the times people kind of brush the symptoms that we see under the rug, and that's something that we really shouldn't do.
Right.
That sometimes when you see the symptoms that are really bad, try talking to them. Are you okay? Like, I'm here for you. If you need something, I'm here for you. Or if they're younger or something, try to get them in contact with someone who is an expert.
Right.
A lot of us aren't. I don't have an EDD, or I don't have a PhD in psychology. I can't know exactly what the signs are, but I can say to someone that although you're feeling alone, you don't need to. I'm here. I'm here to help you. And showing them proper avenues to get help is something that you can do if they're ever in that type of situation.
So you mentioned earlier that I don't know if you were able to do it already, but you are in the process, maybe it's already being implemented, of having this be a part of the health curriculum in your school. Is it in your school, or can you talk about that a little bit more?
Yeah. So I spoke to leaders in my district about ways that we can incorporate student-on-student suicide prevention, which I believe to be the most effective at dealing with it. And I had a lot of positive progress there. They agreed to implement some of the things that I talked about, which are like having direct contact with people who are very close to committing suicide or had someone close to them committing suicide. And with that positive progress, I testified to the School District of Philadelphia about my idea and the plans, how we can utilize some of the systems that we already have in place to create a better suicide prevention system for our students. And stalling a bit there, but I'm hoping we can make positive progress, and working with superintendents wherever I can to make positive progress.
How have the people, like the leaders, how have they received like the information that you're bringing them? Are they pretty open to it, or they're not really ready to talk about it? Like, what is that? How's that been?
I think surprisingly, and credit to all of the administrators. Every administrator that I've ever talked to is always so supportive, always so willing to do whatever they can to help. And I have to say that the actions that they take are loud. That they don't necessarily say, hey, this is a great idea, but I'm not very interested. It's always, can you schedule a meeting with me? Can we talk more about this? Let me put you in contact with this person. I want to hear more about this. Every administrator that I've spoken to about this idea is always very open, and I have to give a lot of praise to them for that.
That's good. And I heard that your mom was telling me off air that there's a march or something, or a rally coming up.
Yeah. So one of the things that I'm hoping to organize in Harrisburg on October 13th is a March for Teen Life, which is just to bring crucial awareness to these type of problems. We have some national level organizations speaking at this event, and have some politicians who are confirmed to come. Hopefully, not a partisan event, but just to bring at least some awareness. Show to people who are on the brink, hey, there are avenues. You're not alone.
So this is your event that you're organizing?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
That's awesome. I didn't know that.
I'm hoping, we can put up the information so our viewing audience can attend. And I'm hoping that some of our local politicians will be able to go as well. And maybe we can have you implement a pilot program here in Delaware.
That would be exceptional, and thank you guys for that. I am looking into avenues for ways that we can implement this into legislation, because I don't believe that the idea requires much. I don't believe that this is the type of idea where we need to tear down everything, redo everything, rebuild better. I think this is something that we can plug in and we can save student lives as a result.
Is there a like a website, or do you have any contact information that you wanted to share just for people?
Yeah. Okay. I have a website. It's neuronestlearning.com. So neuro and then nestlearning.com. And
Okay.
I'm talking about, in that website, I talked about some of the plans and some of the initiatives that I've taken to get this done.
He also conducts symposium. So what we want to do is virtually, he wants high school students to learn how to create a suicide prevention symposium in their school.
Okay.
We want teens to talk more about it, not just adults. So it's teen on teen. We want to build that. Like when you have like a talk or a symposium in high school, you're opening up, you're destigmatizing mental health, right?
Yes.
And I believe that Gen Z only can help themselves. Yes, there is support from elders, but this generation has to speak up and support each other. And that's why I would like to invite both of you for the march that is conducting. We want to do that in Harrisburg, in the capital of Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Bring awareness. We're calling it March for Teen Life, right? So yeah.
All right. Well, I appreciate it. Definitely, I would definitely put that on my schedule. Harrisburg's not too far from here. I think it's going.
Not that far.
Yeah, not that far. It's going to be a. I think there would be and almost like an investment, you know, for us to go up there and kind of see how everything is and bring it back here, like you said, and maybe it can come back.
Maybe we can incorporate that, and with. I know we didn't do a cleanup, but maybe we can get some youth and take them with us.
Oh yeah, that would be good.
That would be wonderful.
Yeah,
wonderful.
We want more teens to come, conduct march in their own, in your own park, speak about it, right? There may be some teen in crisis, right? A simple word of support will stop them. Right?
Yes.
Of course.
All right. Any closing comments, Nived?
I think that whether you're Republican, Democrat, old, young, Black, white, Indian, Chinese, any ethnicity, any standing in life, I think that if we all unite behind a pragmatic solution to these type of problems, I think that we can eradicate suicide. We can make sure that like lives aren't being taken before they're really started. And I think that all of us can get educated. All of us can learn so that we can help the people around us. I think that the common reaction after a suicide is, I'd wish I had seen the signs, but I wish that we can all see the signs.
Right. Very good.
All right. And again, this man is 17 years
I
old.
know.
Just doing grown-up things.
I know. I love it. I
know.
love it. I love
Definitely,
it.
we appreciate you, man. Appreciate your mom.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for having us. And we feel energized by him, right? So I'm here to support. He has our family to support him, but it's his initiative. It's his dream. And even if he goes away to college, I would like to continue with this, with the good work that he has started, right? We cannot lose any more teens.
Right.
I love this. You're already leaving. You're creating a legacy. Yes. So all right. We'll definitely be there.
Lovely.
And we'll definitely have to have you back on again.
I sure hope so.
Okay. All right. Thank you again for coming.
Thank you so much for having me on.
You're welcome. All right.
All right, so we're going to take another break, and we'll just come back and talk a little more.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
All right, we'll be right back.
Government doesn't make a move without an agenda, some type of plan. The problem is we haven't been on the agenda. Sometimes we're overlooked. Sometimes our interests aren't the interest of those in power. I'm your host, Kerwin Gaines, on DETV's new show, The Agenda. We're going to do our best to ensure that you, Delawareans, are knowledgeable about what's going on in the Assembly. Federal government, local government, it doesn't matter. We're going to do our best to ensure that folks that make the agenda on a daily basis have to answer for it. Let them explain what they're doing. If it affects you, it's on the agenda.
Hello and welcome back to the show. We hope that we know that you enjoyed that interview. And just to see a young man like that who is just so well put together and so passionate and just already engaged in his high school, in his community, and then with such a an important issue. I mean, that was really refreshing.
It really
It was. Yeah, it was. So definitely want to wish him and his mom and their family all the best. Especially just coming down from Pennsylvania, and you can just tell the passion.
At like a few hours.
He's been on Fox 29,
right?
And now he's coming down to Wilmington for DETV. We really appreciate that.
Yes.
And them just accommodating us and just spreading the word about suicide prevention. And Wayne, I just want to talk. I want to kind of just take the conversation that we were having earlier. I want to bring that back up.
Before we do that, can I say something about this one? It just reminded me of when we were growing up. It was like we had to kind of keep quiet.
Right.
But now, I know with Hunter, it was different. Like we wanted him to express himself and share whatever was on his mind. And that's how we are today. So I want to encourage parents to don't hush your children, hear them out. But I mean, let them be respectful, but but still listen to them.
Yeah, there are a lot more distractions, I think, now than when we were growing up. That was social media. So I think social media has a huge impact on people just wanting to commit suicide.
And peer pressure.
Yeah. So you just gotta, monitor your child's social media interactions, and just monitor your child, and just pay attention to the signs. And like Waynna said, don't shut them down when they want to open up. So it's important.
Yeah. Okay.
I can remember one of Morgan's best friends, when she was probably in like maybe 7th grade or 8th grade, committed suicide, and it was just she was devastated, of course.
Yeah.
And it was just hard for us as parents, going to the service and just thinking like, what if,
Yes.
Yeah. So and like her parents, it was great family. People, sometimes you just don't see the signs. So. I'm glad that he was able to come on and just talk about it, and just kind of keep our eyes and ears open for signs of suicidal tendencies.
Yes.
So
right.
again, I just want to go back to we were talking about politics and the election, and there was a lot of tension, a lot of friction, a lot of pick a side, and I hope that we are all able to move on from it.
I pray so too. I pray that we will, and just believe that we will.
And so, congratulations to everybody who won. Congratulations to everybody who ran, because it takes a lot to run for a public office. A lot of criticism. You're under the scope. Everybody has an opinion, rightfully so. But I just hope that we're able to move forward as a community, as a city, as a county, as a state, and just work together to make make our state and our city and our county what we really know it can be.
Yes, I wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah, so whether, again, I named the governor, whether it's the governor's race, the county exec's race, the mayoral race, the city council race, whatever race that you were either in, or somebody that you supported was a part of, somebody maybe that you loved, maybe you just had a favorite candidate and they may not have been successful, but hopefully we are all able, again, just to work together and do what we can, because I think that everybody ran for a reason. Everybody ran on just wanting to make lives better.
Yes.
And I think that we have to be open. We still have to be open to learn from each other. I think that's going to be really important. What you think?
I wholeheartedly agree. And that's why I know everybody was checking on me, make sure I'm okay. I am okay. And I think I shared with you, like, I'm going, brush myself off and keep it moving.
Well, so, it's the only option. Because we need you. Like, we're going to need you on city council. Your community's still going to need you. we all need each other, and I just hope we don't get lost in the politics or in the race in the campaign, and just forget why we're all here.
That's so true.
So what else is going on?
I don't know.
You don't know? Me either. We have a few more minutes to talk though, so we gotta think of something. My dad hasn't been on in a while, so I'm gonna make sure that we are. I gotta remind him to come on and give some of his golden nuggets and get back on Sammy's Corner.
Your dad is. We talked about this last week with Monique. That your dad he just has such a wealth of knowledge on whatever topic it is. It doesn't even matter.
Yeah, she was funny. Congratulations to Monique Johns too.
Yes.
Our new county council president.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to. I'm really looking forward to working. I haven't done this, but I want to start working more with different branches of government. With the county, with state, with our state reps, with our senators, just to see how we can, again, because we're all here for the same reason.
Yes.
So I'm looking forward to working with her. I'm looking forward to working with Marcus Henry. Congratulations to Marcus Henry, who's going to be our new county exec.
I know his mother is extremely proud, as she should be.
I know she is. I saw her last Saturday. She was at an event, and she was just she was so excited for him. I knew that. I rest assured. I told her, he's going to be fine. So, but she was a former senator.
Yes.
We are talking about former Senator Margaret Rose Henry. So her son Marcus Henry is going to be is going to be our next county exec. So. Again, congratulations to him. Congratulations to Matt Meyer.
Yes.
Congratulations to Sarah McBride. Sarah, she is. Do you know Sarah? You know Sarah?
Do. Yes.
Yeah, she is. She's a good person. Yeah, she is so
funny.
She is, and she always comes to my events when I have them at the house. We just always have a good time, and she's a cool person. Looking forward to even just working with her. She might not be as local as the rest of the elected officials, but. I need to stay in her ear, making sure that she's keeping Wilmington first. Because all of us, most people campaigned in Wilmington. So we just have to make sure that they don't forget about us, whether they're in the county or on the state level, that as Wilmington goes, the state goes.
Yes.
So we have to make sure that we are keeping Wilmington first, whether it's for our school systems, whatever it is, Wilmington has to be at the center of the conversation. Because if Wilmington is successful, the state's going to be successful. So, you were just talking about my dad.
Yes.
Yeah, and his wealth of knowledge. And we got to get him back on here because he loves to talk. But when he opens his mouth, it's like E.F. Hutton. People listen.
Right.
And he's a very rare individual. A lot of people have his intelligence, I think, but everybody can't express it. And he has the gift of gab. And he wants people to be better. He's not holding it to himself. He just wants. And he realizes the importance of helping your fellow human being, and that's all he's about, is just teaching.
And that's all that I know him to be.
Right, that's all he's ever been. So big shout out to him. I'll make sure that he's back on within the next couple of weeks. Okay. I do want to talk about the funeral home. Especially with every once in a while, we do talk about pre-need and the importance of making pre-arrangements for either yourself or for a loved one, and more people are doing it. Traditionally, it's been, and it's always going to be hard to talk about. It's always a difficult conversation, but more and more people are realizing the importance of having that conversation.
It's just like I said earlier about the children not talking.
Right.
It was like, we're not going to talk about no funerals until the time gets here. But
yeah, but sometimes when if we wait until the time gets here, it could be too late. Right. It could make things more difficult financially. It could make things just harder to talk about because you're grieving, and during grief, sometimes a lot of emotions can come up. A lot of history can be brought back up. A lot of family dynamics can be brought back up. So it's really good just to talk about your wishes and get your loved ones to talk about their wishes well before time.
Yes.
Write them down. The best thing, of course, that we're talking about now is to actually make pre-arrangements, because it takes a lot of the wondering or the guessing out of the equation. So when someone passes away, as you know, Waynna, there are hundreds upon hundreds of decisions that you need to make. And a lot of times those decisions need to be made within a week or so, or a couple of weeks. And that can be very, very challenging when you're already grieving. Now you have to kind of fight through your grief or put your grief on the back burner to try to make this celebration of life special. And you don't really get a chance to grieve. But when you come in and you make pre-arrangements and everything is written down, sometimes everything can be paid for. It is, we have families that come in that have pre-arrangements, and they just always talk about that they are so thankful that their mother or their father made the pre-arrangements, because it made everything so much easier.
That's my forever mother-in-law, Bishop Morton. She made hers, and it was, the family was so appreciative that she did it. And while doing it, we enjoyed planning it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And she was and sometimes people don't understand how in depth you really can do. Like sometimes, her bishop, she wrote her own, I think, her own obituary and order of service, and then she would come and update it. Yeah, she would every couple of months or years.
Or every year.
She would come back and update it and say, I want this person to be a part of it. And again, it just makes things so much easier.
Right.
When the time is necessary. Yeah. So financially, Waynna, it can be it can be a blessing, because sometimes families not only come in just to kind of write down their wishes, write down their instructions. You can start to pay on your funeral or on your loved one's funeral. We've had families who have made pre-arrangements 20 years ago. They paid it off, and 20 years later, while funerals have increased, they still only pay what it cost 20 years ago. So financially, just makes more sense.
But let's clarify that as well.
Okay.
In reference to our services stay the same.
Right, our services. So a family can come in, you can come in, or someone in your family can come in and say, you know what, I want to pick out my casket, I want a family car, I want a limousine, I want to pay for all of Congo Funeral Home's expenses up front. Our costs never change.
Right.
Our costs won't increase. But sometimes families say, you know what, I want to go to a certain cemetery, and they can put money towards that cemetery in their pre-arrangement. Or they can say, you know what, I want to also pay for death certificates. A few years ago, death certificates were only, $6 or something?
$4,
Yeah.
then $6, then $10. Now they're like $40.
Now they're $25.
Oh, $25. So I said $40.
So if you put money towards your death certificates, say you need, sometimes families might need 4. You put $100 towards your death certificates. 20 years from now, they might be $35. So your family might have to pay the difference between the 25 and the 35. That money still can be allocated to the death certificates, but a lot of times your money also grows.
Right.
So sometimes it still can cover the outside charges, but sometimes it doesn't. But it will cover the bulk of your funeral expenses, all of ours, all of the funeral homes, and most of the outside charges. Sometimes families have concerns like, what if I move? Or what if Congo Funeral Home goes out of business? It's not our money. It's still your money. We're just kind of putting it, where you are putting it in an account that covers your funeral expenses. So if you move, that account goes with you.
Transferable.
Right, it's transferable. So right now you're in Wilmington, Delaware. You want to retire down south, and you make your family aware that you have a pre-need with Congo Funeral Home. Once you're settled in down south, and your family knows they're going to use ABC Funeral Home down south, that funeral home will just call us, and we'll say, that money can be applied to the funeral down south. So it's really it's a fantastic way just to keep your family out of so many different pitfalls that can happen when someone passes away. The biggest thing I think is the family dynamics. I always use myself for an example because I have 5 children, and all 5 of my children will have equal say. And it doesn't matter who's the oldest. That doesn't matter. All 5 of my children will have equal say. So Max might want me to be in a brown casket. Mason might want me to be in a blue casket. But if I say, you know what, I want to be in a white casket, they're going to respect that. And again, it's just while you're grieving, it really can help a lot. So we just encourage you to call us at 302-652-8887, 302-652-8887 to schedule your pre-arrangement or for the pre-arrangement of someone you might be responsible for.
Yes. Want to talk about 50 years real quick?
Yes. So we talked about it briefly a few weeks ago, but the Congo Funeral Home will be in business, have been in business 50 years next year. So we are just so excited. My dad and my parents want to have this huge celebration, well-deserved celebration. And we are just so thankful that the community has trusted us for the last 50 years. And it's just a really good feeling to know that 50 years later, families are still calling on our services when the time arises, because there are so many different choices that they have, and they still continue to call us. And we just appreciate it. And we just want to show you our appreciation next year when we celebrate our 50th. We want the community to celebrate with us. It's going to be a heck of a celebration. You know him; he goes all out.
I already know.
Yeah, he's going to go all out.
Then you say he's getting he's getting landscaping together
he's
now.
starting already. He just wants. He's a land. He loves flowers.
I was going to say he do that all the time.
That's what he does, but he's just putting some extra love in it. So when March comes around, everything is going to be ready, and we're just really excited. I'm just so thankful to my parents, just for everything that they do for the family, everything that they have done for the community. And it's a heck of a legacy that they have left in our city. And I always tell the staff this, that we want to strive to be what my parents were, because my parents don't really work funerals anymore, but there is rarely a service or that I'm on where somebody doesn't say, well, how's your mom? How's your dad? And it's amazing the gap in generations of people who ask for my parents. It's like I'll have somebody in their 20s up to people in their age range, some of their peers, just asking for them. And that's the goal for the staff now, that I always try to instill, that we want to have that same impact on our community and on our families.
So years later, everybody say, "Where's Trippi?"
Yeah, where's Trippi? I want people to be asking Max and all my children, "Hey, where's Trippi?" Even though I might not be working as much like my parents are. My dad is 86 now, but he's still coming up.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I know. My mom is 82, but people are still asking for him. They're still doing well health-wise, but just to have that really that inspires me, honestly. Because I want to. I don't think I can ever replace, I never fill their shoes, but that inspires me just to always do better and treat people kindly. And
you're doing a heck of a job.
Thank you.
You really are, yes.
I appreciate that. But they are definitely my inspiration, just through everyday engagement with with people here in the city, and how they just really love them, and how we help people through difficult times when it's, financially, sometimes people aren't just prepared for funerals. But we understand, we're business, but we still understand that it's our role to help families through those difficult times when they might not be prepared financially to pay for a funeral. We have to, we have payment plans. We just understand that everybody doesn't always have it, and them growing up not always having it,
right?
That kind of lends itself to why they understand why people sometimes just don't have it. So and people appreciate that too, and it's a really good feeling, knowing that I might be in a mall somewhere and somebody might stop me and I might not remember their face, I might not remember their name, but they just are thankful years later because we helped them through a very difficult time. So we are very, very thankful over at the Congo Funeral Home for the love and the trust that the community has placed in us throughout over the last 50 years.
Yes.
So.
We got the 2 minute.
Yeah, we got the 2 minute warning, y'all.
Peace sign.
Like, get up out of here. So I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. Again, and reach out to Waynna if you ever want to be a part of the show. We're going to keep on making the show better, more interesting, more informative. We're going to bring in more politicians. I definitely want to bring in some of my colleagues just to have conversations with them so we can start to understand each other better, and we can help the community to understand know who counsel is.
Okay, I'll
All
make
right.
that happen.
All right.
All right.
All right. Take
All
us
right.
out.
All right. So thank you again for tuning into the Congo Hour, and I pray that this week is the best week of your life. Good night.
Good night.